Yo, what's good with you, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, man. And we got ourselves another review series, but this time we not gonna be reviewing the games and stuff like that. We're gonna be saving that for another video. Today we actually are going to be reviewing the ASTRO C40 TR controller. Now, for those of you that do not know, I have already made a video on this previously, but I'm gonna be real, it's not that great of a video, so don't judge me too harshly. But that was my first time ever getting it. Was about a year and some change ago. And let's just say I didn't do it with the camera. I didn't really give off anything about the controller. It didn't give you guys anything to go off of and whether or not it was really a good controller to get. So we're gonna go ahead and do a do-over slash how's the controller holding up a year and some change later. So in today's video, you guys can expect me to talk about the good and the bad about the controller and all the little features in here about the controller. Now, let me go ahead and say this quick little disclaimer. This is not a sponsored video whatsoever. I am not important enough at the moment to be even getting sponsors to want to help me with this stuff. These are all my honest opinions for myself that I made up by myself, just so that you guys can have a better understanding. Since I am already an owner of the controller, I might as well talk to the people who don't have one, or at the moment who's debating about if they should get one or not, like how I was. But now it's like it's a lot harder because of the whole corona and everything like that. So you guys don't have to spend the money that I did or feel like you've made a mistake. This is the video for you. I'm gonna let you guys know the honest truth about the controller and everything like that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get that intro out the way, man. If you guys are new to the channel and you end up enjoying my content, please hit that sub button. It'll help me out a lot. It's free to do. Turn that notification bell on so you'll never miss another one of my videos, and leave a like and share this video. That'll be much appreciated, y'all. It helps the channel so much. You have no idea. Now, it's time to run it bike.
Seen it with my eyes. Dope still alive. Real mom eyes. Real raw eyes. Real old eyes. All time high. Do it for the culture. They gon' bite like vultures. Way back when I was trapping, not Toyotas. I'ma hit the gas. Truck can't pull me over.
All right, so getting straight into it, man. I probably will do my best to have some clips of the controller playing in the background. Now, I just want to also say this: I do not own the rights to any of these video clips, so please do not sue, copyright, or hit me with anything that's gonna hurt my pockets that I already can't afford to have hurt me. I'm broke.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Now, onward with the video. Talking about this beauty right here, the ASTRO C40 TR controller. Now, y'all, I'm gonna just go ahead and be real. It's a bulkier controller. So for those of you that aren't into the bulkier controllers, this might not be the one for you. But it is a bulkier controller. As you guys can see, I shall show it one more time. And I have it set up as if it's an Xbox controller. That's just me personally. That's how I wanted to do it. You can still set it up as if it's a PlayStation controller. It does not matter. You could even set it up to look funky as hell, but I don't know why you would do that. Now, as you guys already probably know and have seen hundreds of times, that you can reconfigure the controller to look any way that you want, moving around the analogs and shit like that, which makes it a one-of-a-kind controller and super unique, that it has that feature where you can move things around if you want to. The only ones you can't move would be the circle, X, square, triangle, blah blah blah. You know, you can't move those around. So I wouldn't say that's a downside. It just makes sense. You can't move those around. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But the fact that you can reconfigure this to be whatever you want, that's a plus. Just want to go ahead and get this out the way now as well. The little power button in the middle, you are not able to use that to turn on your console. So that to me is a downside, but it's not that big of a deal. You got to get up, but just know that you can't turn your PlayStation or Xbox. I don't know if it works for Xbox because I'm a PlayStation / computer guy, so I don't know. But I know for a fact that this works on PlayStation and your computer. So you have no issues with that. Like I said, it just can't power those things on. Okay, on with the video. So some good key points that I want to go ahead and start this video off with is stating that the controller is, yes, like I said, it's a bulkier controller, But the thing that's an advantage with this is the triggers in the back that you guys know about or probably have seen. Those triggers are better to me than what the competition has to offer, which would be scuff, because a lot of scuffs, or at least some of the older models, have it to where you have to adjust your hands ever so oddly, I'll say, to get used to the fact that you have to use those to, for me, for example, jump and slide in games such as Apex Legends. So with the Astro's controller, it just works out better because they're already in a place where it feels comfortable for my hand, because I'm normally gripping the controller the way that the paddles are already molded into the damn joystick. Now, I know some people will be asking, well, wouldn't that be a concern, feeling like they'd hit the button all the time and do something that they didn't want to do in the middle of a game? Yes, only if you are seriously like gripping the hell out the controller like this, y'all. Like if you grabbing it like this, then yeah, you about to go ahead and hit them buttons that you ain't really trying to. Cause why are you grabbing it so tight like this? There's no need to hold on like that. So yes, then I guess in a scenario like that, yeah, you'll be hitting the buttons accidentally all the damn time. But if you're just normally gripping the controller and then you ever so subtly hit them buttons, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna feel natural. Trust me, y'all. It didn't take me any longer than about 2, maybe 3 days to really get used to the buttons being right there. But they feel really good on the hand to just have those buttons right there and not have to worry about taking my thumb off of the right analog stick to jump in or slide. So that is a huge bonus in the competitive field with this controller. That's a great thing to have. That's really the biggest reason I got this controller, and it wasn't until later that I found out all the other great features. Moving on, I'll say the build quality of this controller is great. I love the fact that it's a sturdier controller. It doesn't feel like it will just break the second you accidentally drop this. This controller, it feels heavy duty, man. And what's also nice, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it, but the little grooves back there, sorry for the controller being a little dirty. I've had it, like I said, for almost a year and some change now, but the little grooves right there that you guys can see, I wouldn't say it adds grip, but it definitely feels nice on the hand and feels like the controller shouldn't just be slipping out of your hand. The front of the material is more of like a matte type of black material on the controller. Now that part feels like there's a slight bit, not a lot, but a slight bit of grip to the controller. So if you got sweatier hands, man, then I wouldn't worry too much. I have been in some situations where my hands have felt a little hot and sweaty, and it just kind of leaves like smudges on the controller, not so much like the controller is slipping out of my hand. So that is nice. And like I said, the build quality of this is definitely top tier. Like this controller, unless you're slamming it on your desk and throwing it at the walls as hard as you possibly can, this controller is not going to break on you. So that's a plus. Now, moving on to the next couple of things, let's talk about the hair triggers that's on the back of the controller. I like those things probably just as much as I like the fact that they have paddles on the controller. What the hair triggers do, if you guys don't know, is it allows you to have it to where your controller is pushed down to a certain extent and it'll recognize it as being pushed all the way down on your L2 or R2 buttons. And it'll give you a quicker reaction time in those FPS games. Now, you can turn it off and have it to where you have regular triggers, but truth be told, there's no point in doing that unless you are playing games such as Call of Duty Warzone. I say that because I have tried the controller out on Warzone, and for whatever reason, I don't know on whose end it is, but when you're driving the cars, you will not be going your fastest when you have the triggers locked on instead of when you have them locked off. I don't know why, y'all. I couldn't tell you, but that is just a thing that's in here. So keep that in mind if you're trying to play it for games like Warzone. It still works. It's still a great controller in Warzone. But if you're trying to drive, just remember you're probably gonna have to go ahead and be with the quickness and turn off the damn locks on your triggers and have it go all the way down just so you can drive. Moving forward with it, those triggers though, outside of that, I love them so much. Like the reaction time on the guns to ADS or just to shoot the gun is so much faster than if I had to pull the L2 or R2 buttons all the way down. Like you have a quicker response time when the triggers are on than you do when they're off. And that just adds on to the controller's competitiveness, making it better than the other competition out there because of the fact that it will allow you to lock your triggers. That feature, I'm telling you guys, that's probably one of the most undefeated features in the game, and you will never want to go back to a regular controller after you've experienced that. Next, we got to talk about the fact that this controller also does come with a Bluetooth dongle, and it comes with the cord to charge it. Now, I'm not sure what the battery life on it is. I'll probably put the numbers up on the screen because I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. It's been a while, but it has a decent battery life, and you can also still play it while it's charging and or just play it connected to the cord the entire time, whether you're on PlayStation or whether you're on PC. So there is no big latency when you're not playing on control or the wire. Sorry, got the words all mixed up. So when you're playing on the dongle, Bluetooth, wireless, whatever you want to call it, there is no latency. I have not noticed any type of latency that hinders my game performance even in the slightest. And when I tell y'all I have really played this, I have played Apex with this controller ever since I got it. I do not play Apex on anything else but this controller because it is just that damn amazing. So the dongle, like I said, there is no latency, and obviously there is no latency with the cord. So just wanted to get that little point out there really quick. There also are only 2 modes, I want to say, on this controller, where you can have 2 different profile settings for your controller configuration, whether that's just the back paddles or you're changing X to operate as triangle, which is a weird ass thing. I don't know why you would do that, but if you want to do that, go ahead, you weirdos. But it has 2 different profile settings, so if you wanted to switch to have your game work a certain, or your controller, I mean, to work in a certain way on a certain game, you can have that configured as profile 1, and then profile 2 can be configured for something else that you feel comfortable with. It has so many amazing features on this controller, it just does not make any sense to not get it. I know I'm jumping the gun on the conclusion of the video, but I'm telling y'all, I love this damn controller. Now, getting into it a little bit more, the controller also has software that you can download on your PC, and it's only on the PC, sadly, y'all, but it has a software where you can get in there and you can change the configuration of the controller. You can do all types of things in there. You could adjust the analog tension, whether or not you want it to feel, or not even just feel, but the analogs to respond off of a harder and more dramatic push in a certain direction, or you can have it to where the analogs are loose and sensitive to the slightest touch, so you'll have a, I guess, quicker reaction. I've never messed with those settings personally, so I wouldn't know. You guys will have to get in there and mess around with them yourself, but it has a lot of amazing features that you can mess around with in there. You also can keep this controller up to date with the updates that they offer in there. Also for the dongle, those are both going to need to be updated at some point, but just a lot of amazing features with this controller. Now, to get into the segment where we talk about the negative side of this controller, yes, y'all, nothing is perfect. It has its downside. Now, I'll say this. One of the downsides that I already mentioned earlier in the video is the fact that you are not capable of turning on your console with that middle button. For whatever reason, I don't know why, it's not a feature in there. The only thing that it's going to do is power on and off your Astro controller. It will not turn on any console. If a damn show won't turn on any PC. So that's a negative in my opinion. Another negative is the fact that you have this Astro's button in the center, and you can click that all you want and it does nothing for you, nothing at all. It's just a useless button that's sitting there and it serves no purpose whatsoever. So it's just taking up space and potentially just being a button that is useless. I mean, I don't know if you really can call that a super negative. That's me just kind of nitpicking, but I'm just letting you guys know everything about this controller. Another thing that's the biggest downside, which I'm sure you guys have all been waiting for, is what about the stick drift? The stick drift on this controller is real, especially after 5 to 6 months of serious gaming. And I mean 5 to 6 days a week, 6 to let's say 9 hours a day, and you're only using this controller in every game that you play. Yes, there is going to be some serious stick drift in the controller and it's annoying. But like I said also previously, is that you could possibly get inside of the app and you can mess around with that so you could control and try and deal with some of the stick drift, which is also really nice because I don't know any other controller that offers that, where you can get into the software on a computer and try to fix it to where your controller doesn't recognize as much stick drift. And also there's another way of going about it. You can buy the analogs, whether it's off of the Astro website or GameStop, for about $20. So to me, that's a downside, but not a complete downside. Yes, you're going to be spending $20 and sometimes even $40 depending on how many you're getting. You have to spend that $20 to $40 every 6 months or so, you know, depending on how much you're gaming. But just think how much money you would be saving compared to a PS4 or a PS5 controller, where if they go out and they start to have serious stick drift, there is no fixing that. The only thing that you can do is go out and purchase another controller, which is about $60 to $65, and now for the PS5 controllers, $70. So instead of spending that type of money, you could spend $40 and get yourself 2 new analog sticks. Even with the SCUF controllers, you can't do that. If a SCUF gaming controller goes out, you have to get rid of that, hold on to it, or whatever the case may be, and order an entirely new controller, which can range from $100 to $150, and I think they go up to about $200 themselves. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into it, but you'll be spending that type of money in another 6 or 7 months with those controllers if the stick drift goes out or if the paddles go bad or whatever the case may be. You're gonna be spending way more money on those other controllers than what you ever will on the Astros, unless you just completely break this controller. So that's why I said I don't truly see it as a downside with this controller, because yes, again, no one enjoys stick drift at all. But if you had to deal with stick drift, at least it's with a controller where you can go and get the analogs and replace them, and the stick drift will completely be gone. It'll be like as if you got a brand new Astros controller all over again for the price of $20 or $40, depending on how many you get. So I think it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion. Maybe that's the wrong word, because double-edged sword is like dangerous and it hurts you both ways. It's got its ups and its downs in that one category. So with that being said, that's all that I have on this controller. I mean, I could just continuously go on about how this controller is a game-changing competitive controller, man. Like I love this controller to death, and I really recommend it for the people that have the money to get it. Don't feel like you got to go out your way to go and get this controller. But if you were already considering or had the money and was just really trying to debate on whether or not you should go for this controller or another one, I highly recommend the ASTRO C40 controller if you can afford it. It is a game-changing controller. As corny as that sounds, I'm telling y'all, it will change your life, man. So take it or leave it what I'm saying, man. You can either believe me or not, but that was the whole honest truth on this controller. I did not sugarcoat anything. You know what I mean? Like I'll be honest with y'all, I've had to change my analog. So you know what I'm saying? Like that was something that I had to do. I ended up paying $40 for 2 new ones. I only needed to use it for 1, so I also still have another analog just in case this one starts to go bad. But like I said, that's gonna do it for the video, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was useful and that you guys were able to take something from it. And yeah, man, look, I'm telling y'all, it's a good investment. But with that, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I hope to catch y'all in the next video, man.